It is a system for working out how the same circumstance will affect different people differently. So suppose you and I both, or Kim and I both went in, we were suspected of having a kidney disease or something like that. The diagnostic regime would involve taking blood tests, doing things, using chemicals to test for it. So we would both be very different people when we came in, and we would get very different results from the diagnostic regime at the end. So I might be found to have it, and he might be found not to have the disease. Or I've got it chronically and he's got it intermittently, or something like that. But the system for determining, you know, what mattered for our circumstances was the same in both cases. It was scientifically derived, it was evidence-based, and it was the best that medicine can offer for testing whether these people have a clean bill of health and can go ahead, or whether they are actually suffering from this. And that's exactly what the difference between diagnosis than framework or model or anything. And I think we have far too few diagnostic regimes in entrepreneurship. Too many models which are just descriptive of entities. They're not helpful with processes. Too many frameworks that are just... So this is, in a sense, you know, it's a framework, but it's a framework to a purpose. You put every case through the same, you know, and I still call it a regime or a set of processes for determining. No matter what the venture is, it will matter to it, but it'll matter in different ways. What the physical resources are, what the human resources are, now most importantly, what the attitudes of different key social networks and groups are. And then there's a whole literature of social networks and how important they are to entrepreneurship. This is where this diagnostic regime of mine brings in lots of things. We also know how important governance and institutions can be. There's institutional theory, all that knowledge can get applied here. Then there is the whole issue of property rights and capital formation, very key issues for the economics field. And then we know from a lot of management literature how important it is to span the boundaries, because unless you can span the boundaries, say within one firm between its divisions, or in a nation between the groups that comprise it, you're not going to have harmony, you're not going to have things. So this diagnostic regime brings in a whole lot of things under one roof, but it does it systematically, and you use the same regime every time. The thing that drives me crazy about most contextual studies in entrepreneurship is that they're well motivated, but they never have any consistent framework. And this from a discipline that would reject a methodology that wasn't rigid if you were doing a question or a survey. But when it comes to analysing how a venture might play out in circumstances, everybody is to be free to go their own way? No. So if you want to test for kidney disease, you use the best medical practice. And if you want to test whether a given proposed entrepreneurial process can work in a given context, use Hindle's diagnostic.